Hello, everyone. Welcome to what we're going to call summer hours here through summer, at least for the Euro 21. We'll probably go maybe an hour later. We'll come in at the end of the first game. And it seems like always seems to be ticking for us, Gary. And are we getting nervous a little bit? Not right now, maybe, but summertime here, Arsenal get their business done. And, as the caption says here, we said on Thursday night, actions will speak louder than words this summer. Arsenal lose out in Buendia. And, I asked my wife, she collects certain things, and I said, if you're looking to buy something for $30 or £30, are you willing to buy something for $35 or £35, €35? Are you willing to go that extra? And her answer was, depending on how badly she wanted it. And, I think Arsenal answered that question, Gary, yesterday. Unfortunately, losing out on a player that I would have liked to have seen in Arsenal, but this is a trend we don't like to see, Gary. Players going to other teams, we're slowly shuffling down the pack in the Premier League table.
Yeah, I mean, welcome everybody in the chats, Ray, and future panel members that come in. But initially, I guess I was a little frustrated that the deal wasn't going our way. But then you have to, like anything else, you sit back and think about it a little bit longer. Did they actually put a bid in? There's some back and forth on whether they did or not, and if they didn't, then they weren't really that interested. Does he fit the mold that they want? Yeah, I mean, I think you hear a lot of people say that, it's not a big loss. It's not. It's a lot of money, and it's not just one player that Arsenal's looking for, anyways, right? So we need probably at least 2 to 3. Well, I would say 3 big purchases, in terms of transfer business that we need, I think. So if this is going to blow up the other two positions of need, then it's probably not worth it, right? There are a lot of players out there that fit a position for us. One of the things we notice is that we can move a lot of our players around anyways, right now. So he would fit in perfectly, but if they don't feel like, they can't go over that particular number, then they, showing some discipline. And that's one thing I've been wanting from the team anyways, is some discipline. So it's just hard to believe that they're doing it now. So until I see it consistently, like if I see it today and then at the end of the window, we look at it and we go, okay, they've been consistent throughout. The discipline's been there. They know what they want and they've gone out and got it based on whatever numbers, whatever budget they have in place. So we'll see. That's the thing I have not seen, and I'll be surprised to see it because it just hasn't been there the whole time. We've gone out and spent a lot of money. We put $50 million into the deal for Partey, right? Or 50, I say dollars, but probably euros, right into that.
Yeah.
And now we can't do that. And even though it's necessary now because of where we stand. So who knows? We'll see. But yeah, it's the first one, and it doesn't even seem really that we wanted him that bad. And it seems like it might be a big stretch for us if we have, like I said, three major deals that we need to make this summer. We need to have at least two starters right out of this window, I think.
At least
For me to feel like we're getting better. We don't need to fill the squad up. We have a lot in the squad. We just need to make sure we got some starters, or not necessarily. And you see the starters or somebody that can go back and forth and you can move around to play. So we'll see. It was a little tense time, or I guess yesterday or the last 2 days. Hearing it sounded like we were the first ones in. And now here we're not going to be the last one in. So, but yeah, I think that's where we are. I think, yeah, there are other fish in the sea. Hopefully they fit into the model. One of the things that I was thinking about when I'm looking at the transfers coming in, one of the things that they have to, some of the qualities they're going to have is better talent than what we have now, potential than we have now, some leadership if they have that. Their energy and tenacity needs to be better than what we have now. We need players that Arteta can tell them to do something and they will go do it, right? Because right now we've got players that can't do what Arteta wants, and even if they do it wrong, at least they're doing it with a little bit of energy, right?
And have the ability to do it as well, Gary. I mean, Granit Xhaka will do whatever Arteta wants him to do, but he needs to have the ability in every position if he's going to do that.
And definitely. I mean, that's why I guess it is a little. That's why it's a little concerning that Buendia isn't a player that he feels like he can't get. That isn't top of their list. I mean, if he's not top of the list, then who is, right? Because you might spend a little extra on a play that's at the top of your list, right? Is 40 mil a lot for a player that you need? It isn't, right? You needed a Partey, you went and got him. You need more midfield players at the quality, of like a Tierney, potential of a Saka, potential, I guess the quality of a Partey, right? You need that. That's what we need. So why not spend the money and get the players that you need? We'll see. I mean, if all the teams around us are getting better, and they've had solid seasons, not that Villa had a solid season, but injuries pretty much knocked them where they are. I don't feel like if they had a healthy team, they would be sitting behind us the way things were going, right? So you take Grealish off of any team, you're gonna dip no matter what.
It's gonna hurt.
Yeah. So we didn't have as big of a drop because of that, I feel.
I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chats here. Thanks for joining us. This will be roughly maybe another hour on from here will be the slot after the first games in the European Championships. It's certainly at the weekends, and of course the evening podcast on Thursday will not affect it. But shout out to Russ here, Steve Denham, also Ray Anderson. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Just wanted to say I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe, and that's the cannon fodder. I'll welcome there. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Not too fussed by Buendia, to be honest. And Gary, you make some great points. Charles Watts has said that reports from some persons in the club doesn't seem like Arsenal even made a bid. And what he had said is they had not confirmed that a bid was ever made. But, they're not going to maybe admit it now that they've lost out openly to Aston Villa here. Ray Anderson said, do we know the mentality of Buendia? We need leaders now, and that's a good point. But, a very productive player, and I don't buy into the narrative that he didn't do anything in the Premier League 2 years ago. First of all, it was 2 years ago. He's grown as a person and as a player. Obviously, in the Championship, his numbers have gotten better. And I think we can expect in a better team, which would have been either Arsenal and now Aston Villa, unfortunately, Buendia will be amongst better players, Gary, and he will have better numbers as well. So shout out to Stephen and also Cannon Fodders, Alex in the chats, and Brownie too. So Buendia, we're going to probably look at this player throughout the season and wonder what if, Gary.
Yeah, no, Erdegar, is that right? Is that what we're talking about?
Erdegaard. Well, we're talking about Buendia right now. If he goes to Aston Villa,
Buendia, I mean, like I said, I think he would fit in perfectly with us, and I think he would fit in a lot of places. It's whether he fits into your transfer budget, right? And if he doesn't, we can't afford to do that anymore where we're sacrificing other positions. If they have a plan, and the issue is, do they have a plan, right? If Buendia was set at a particular price in their head and it doesn't work out because they want more, then you move on to the next target, right? Who is that next target? Yeah.
Gary, Ray, I always love Ray's interaction here, Ray Anderson. Gary, I don't think we have an injury-free team. We wouldn't be so far down the table too. Definitely after the last European break, our qualifying break, Gary, we went away with a clean bill of health, came back with quite a few injuries, and of course Tierney breaking down in the Liverpool game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the injuries that we suffered, are they at a level over Grealish? Is Grealish considered one of the up and coming
Well,
players in the league?
Kieran Tierney is
Yeah,
vital. Is a vital cog in our team, and losing him, Gary,
yeah.
meant that crazily enough, Arteta figured out our Granit Xhaka
No,
was
no,
going to play
I'm
left
not saying
back.
I'm not saying to our team. I'm talking about in general in the Premier League. Is Grealish and Tierney, are they at the same level? Is Grealish considered a better, a better talent
I
in the league?
would, yeah, I would
Than,
say that we rely on Tierney just as much as Aston Villa
no, no,
rely
I,
on
no, no. I
Grealish.
get that. I'm talking about in the league. So if you're starting a team up and you have your Grealish and a Tierney, which one do you go? Which one do you pick first if they're both healthy? Which one
Which
do you
one is
start?
going to maybe give you more goals and more assists? Definitely Grealish because he plays a little further up the
Yeah.
field, right?
No, I'm just saying, like, if you're building, it doesn't even. It could be a center back, right? Like if you're starting a team and it's Van Dyke and it's Grealish, which one do you pick? You're going to be torn on that
Right.
one, right? Because
Yes.
you're
Yes.
talking about really stopping someone and maybe getting, but that So that's why I'm saying I don't know if Grealish and Tierney are at the same level in that type of sense where you're deciding on your team and how important they are to the league as opposed to your team. Because Tierney's definitely he's crucial to our team. We're able to play somewhat without him. We know we have somebody that can replace him. We it would have been nice to see, right? It would have been nice to see Saka take that place and see if that would have made a difference for us, right? Because we know he can do a job once in a while. That's not where he's slated to go for the rest of his career. But we do have some cover there.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that's the only reason why I bring that up. I like all of our players. Definitely Tierney's one of the tops for me. Just we're comparing, you know, they both mean enough to both players. Sorry, both teams.
Hmm.
But we were out. I think we were without Partey for a lot of the season. That hurt us
Yeah.
probably just as much as uh, you know.
And then, as I was saying to you in the green room just before we got started, we missed David Luiz as well. He went out in that
Yeah,
Newcastle game. I think he may have played the first leg, or he may have come back for the Newcastle game. I'm not sure if he played the first leg of the European semi-final, but definitely was not available for the second leg. And I think David Luiz was crucial to us winning the FA Cup, and we definitely missed him in the second leg of that semi-final.
yeah. I mean, we saw some good things in that run in the FA Cup run, right? So I mean, it'd be so
If
and they're from players that we don't even want on the team anymore, right? I mean, De Bellerin had some good play in the game, but yeah, it
if
is a different
Buendia's
time.
expectations met Villa's, is he the right signing for Arsenal? Our expectations are higher. He's not a transfer that you get excited about. He's decent, but let's not go crazy. He is no Messi. And while I'm not going to go crazy about it, Gary, we have to admit, as Arsenal fans, our competition is the likes of Aston Villa. We've been fighting them all season, Everton, and maybe West Ham on a push as well this season.
Yeah. No, that is true. That is true, and we should be. Um, but I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, we are
Facts,
where we
right?
are, where our record is, and based on the way the year went, that's where we said we did
Now
our best coming into the end of this season. I mean, we
we
won, we
can
won
say
five
we
in a row
can.
to finish off the season, and it still wasn't enough, right? And
It
that
wasn't enough.
and that's
Exactly.
because you got to play 38 matches, not five,
Yeah.
right?
Now
So
there is a suspicion, and we did the podcast recently about how many points we left on the table. I went conservatively for me, being supposedly the most optimistic on this channel here at 6 points, and some who are supposedly in their words. I'm talking about Tony now.
he's not here
Surmising
today.
15 points. Did he say 12 or 15, Gary? So
Yeah.
anywhere between 6 and 12 points, we should be better off by, you
Yeah.
know,
No, I mean,
but
yeah,
all going well.
Yeah.
All going well, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Arsenal,
I guess I don't know. You still got Brownie's point up
yeah,
there, and none of them watched him in the championship. But was he not? Is he not a talent?
we see his stats, Brownie. In 38 games, he has 31 goal involvements last season, 15 goals and 16 assists. Now that means you got strikers that are putting away your assists as well, Gary.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, also, is he a talent or not, right? And I think he was on our radar. At least some of the fans wanted to see him come in when they did get relegated, right? They thought that might be a good plus for us in the middle, because that's what we lacked, right? We missed a player with his skill set to come in. So as much as he's he's trying to gas us up. I mean, it was a player that was definitely on the radar of many fans
Yeah,
long before he got relegated. Long before he started playing in the championship again. So, and he kind of proved that, what, versus lesser talent, he is better than that, right? And comparing him to some of the former players, if you're going to use that as a gauge, he's just as good as a Madison or a Grealish based on how they did coming up from
exactly.
the championship. So I think if that's not a good marker to look at and compare against,
And
when you're playing on a bad team, you get relegated, you go back to a lower league and you excel.
Addressing Brownie's comment here, massive people were gassing about Benrahma before he went to West Ham. And what has he done? I'll answer that one in a second. There's a massive gap between Championship and the Premier League. Trust me. There is a gap if you're not given games. Take the example of Ollie Watkins. He played all season with Aston Villa, got a reasonable return of 13, 14, 15 goals in the league. Benrahma came into a settled side under West Ham and David Moyes, and was always going to struggle, Gary, to get playing time. And when he was given minutes toward the end of the season, he scored a couple of very vital goals for West Ham in the end that got them over the line. So the difference between the Championship and the Premier League is there, but if you're allowed the minutes, you can bridge that gap, right?
Well, and we saw that with other teams bringing players in that didn't get as much playing time as we thought, right? And those teams still succeeding and finishing above us in the table. So it is about depth, right? And sometimes it fits in right away, and sometimes you see a player that fits the mold of the one you want, and you don't get to play him as much because everybody else is playing so well. And that's the sign of a good team with good depth, and that's one thing we lack, right? We don't have. I think we have certain players that we feel should get more playing time, but we don't have, I feel like we don't have a squad that the talent is so rich, and the integration into whatever the coach is asking them to do is so not, they know it back and forth, so that there's no dip, so that the manager can say, you know what, I want you guys to do this, and they can go out and do it. We're not at that point right now, right? So that Benrahma coming in and not getting as much playing time has a lot to do with that as well. These are well-established teams who've been playing together for a little while and have, at least based on where they've been managed, are better managed than us, in the sense that they all, can play and get what the manager wants out of them. So we're lacking that much. So
let me we'll take a second here and catch up in the comments, because it's a lively comment section here right now. Steve Denham says, surely there's better quality player out there. Have we dropped our expectations? I think we need to drop our expectations, be somewhere between realistic, which is our position right now, 8th, 7th place, and optimistic, which is plus 6 points, puts us right in the frame for the edge of top 4, maybe top 5, top 6. Sam is here in the comments. Sam Greenwood, thanks for joining. Social media has made people hysterical. Before, when we only had back page newspapers and see facts, we weren't like this. I missed the 90s, definitely.
Well, it's an information age, right? Back in the days, you didn't know any better because you didn't know. You didn't know until somebody told you. Now, you can hear other people's thoughts, and people can actually push their comments out. So all of us are here because of these changes. So you can't have YouTube and then complain that social media is wrong. They all kind of come together. This is a different way. So this is just the way.
You wouldn't have had us in the 90s. I mean, we would have been a little bit younger, right, Gary? But
yeah, I would have still had an English accent back in the early 90s, right? So
listen, I'm just glad that the community we have here has found us now. I don't want to be huge. I don't want to be the biggest thing around. I would just want it to be the nicest community that we can have here, and we're building that slowly but surely here. Yeah. And Gary, as I've said many times before, you and everyone else that comes on with me in the past season has made this channel what it is, and really appreciate that, Gary. So hope you're feeling. Hope you're feeling.
I hope that everybody in the chat is enjoying what I have to say. I'm not going to be.
Coming back.
I can say I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to say something silly, and I'm going to make a mistake. So
that's
just
what it's
bear
all
with
about.
me.
That's what it's all about. We are fans. We have a platform here. We're going to talk about it, and the chat section can hold us accountable, and we can fight our corner. Gary and I have had our differences in discussion of Arsenal throughout the season, and it's been a lot of fun and enjoyable as well. And we don't do it just for clicks. It's how we feel. And at the end, when the stream ends, it's done, right? We move on. Before Arsenal will link to him, we're the Arsenal fans saying Buendia as a player. I hope Arsenal say no, where they FUCK, they never have him a second look. They never give him.
I believe he was on the radar. I mean, was he? If you think about it, he probably came more on the radar when it became, when all the changes at Real Madrid came up as well, right? Because
and we missed Partey as well.
No. What I was going to say.
Here's the thing, though. The stats this season, 2 years on, Sam, it could be good playing with better teams. So go ahead, finish your point, Gary.
No. Now I lost my train of thought. What I was going to say there, but
It'll come back to you. It'll come back to you. But Gary, one thing. Once we get caught up in the conversation here, there are reports that Arsenal didn't even make a bid, but who knows? There's so much stuff out there. Who knows what really happened? I believe they did make a bid in the end, and it was just a point where we didn't want to push the boat out further because we do have other areas. We all know the areas. James Fernandez, Buendia embarrasses Arsenal, Conte embarrasses Spurs. I hate our owners, and Gary, looking around the Premier League, you could say there's only a handful of owners that actually do care about winning or progressing in their respective leagues.
Yeah, but I think it's about the people also that they hire, right? I mean, who are they hiring? Who's that? Oh, look at that! The youngsters on with us.
It's Southern Hemisphere. Southern Hemisphere Gunded News, and it's warm up here and it's cold down there, right?
Yo, but love to you guys, Gary. Love to you, Ray, and you guys.
Yeah. Oh no, your video's cracking up on us. You got that. You got that bug that Ray had earlier this week, late this.
He needs Thursday. Sorry, he needs some rabbit ears on his head there.
Yeah, exactly. He's froze on us. Oh no. Yeah.
We'll carry on and he'll come back in.
Yeah.
We don't want to be fighting with Villa, Everton, and West Ham next season, though. We want to be closer to the Leicesters, Chelsea's, Man United. So you could count on your one hand, probably, Gary. You got Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United, Leicester.
Well, think about it. Think about those three teams. We had a pretty good record against all three of them. Right, we got at least one win from each one of those teams, even though it didn't look like we should be able to do that. Right. So I think we are against them quality-wise. We're just our consistency and our depth is what hurts us. Right. I mean, that's why. I mean, the teams that we needed to beat, we didn't. Right. So I think we can play with them. We just don't have confidence, the depth, a little bit of luck, and the luck I think is with VAR because bar usually kind of was against us. Every 50-50 ball went against us this season, and I think that's partly us not doing what we needed to do. But I think, and that's what hurt us in those games that we lost to teams lower than us on the table.
Yeah, I think Gary, being optimistic, we had a bad season in terms of luck or bias against us. Hopefully, it's not biased, and we're going to call it luck. Like you said, officials harshly doing us over on VAR. I think there's a lot of meat on the bone, as we said. Let me bring in Mahir. So, Mahir, the banner I've got up here, actions will speak louder than words. Arsenal lose out in Buendia. And it will depend on how badly we wanted the player, Mahir.
Yeah, like you just said, it just depends on if Arsenal wanted the actual player, you know. Maybe it was Arteta, but could this be a foreseeable thing? Like they didn't want Buendia because there's another high priority target that we don't know about, such as Awad, for example.
Yep.
Basuma. It could be. I mean,
I believe, Mahir. I believe that Aston Villa's interest forced Arsenal to do something in this. It was well known Aston Villa were interested as well. We put a bid in, and we did it the Arsenal way. We went a little bit low. We didn't do it the Liverpool way, Mahir. And Aston Villa have come in and beaten us to the punch here.
Yeah, well, I mean, is it embarrassing? I don't. I say we're not moving like a big team. We're not moving like the Arsenal of old. It's this new 10 years Arsenal.
Same old Arsenal. We want to be same new Arsenal, right?
Gary, we've been doing this for years, so it's like not even a surprise that we're now competing for championship players with Aston Villa. Look, we may have dodged the bullet. Let's just pray that it's a dodged bullet, and they have bigger plans. I mean, the biggest one would actually
you never really know, Mahir. Brownie has come back to me here. For one, Ollie Watkins, there's 20 duds from the championship. That's why it's so difficult for newly promoted teams to stay up. So I think Ollie has proven himself in that Aston Villa team. There are positives with social media, like the positives you mentioned, but it's that other side of social media just sucks so much.
You know what? Because us as humans, we suck, man. We as a big group, we suck. We do things, we go a little too overboard. So,
and Gary, it's a generational thing. We have to remember Arsenal fans are hopefully age 10 or younger, all the way up to age 90 and older. You know what I mean? So you're going to get that range of different opinions from the young ones like mine here and the older generation, slightly older generation.
Slightly older.
Slightly older.
Yeah.
The Willians and the David Luiz. I hope we perform a little bit better than Willian or David Luiz, though, Gary.
Well, you know what? Definitely Willian. Luiz actually had a wide spectrum of play. Willian was pretty much the same, and we're like disappointed in it. So Bob Bubka, huh?
Gary, has anyone told you you're the Bob Bubka of YouTube?
He said chilling voice, and then he corrected himself. Wise, okay.
I am not sure who Bob Bubka is.
No, I had to look it up because I wanted to see.
My here in the house.
Yeah.
What's going on in South Africa, my here?
Hey.
And I hope my this live stream doesn't go haywire like Thursday night. Did you see that, my here?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Whoa.
It was flashing like that.
People that would have driven them absolutely. I mean, they can literally get seizures from such stuff. But nothing much is going on in South Africa. Sam was asked. It's just ice cold, whole day. Man's in tracksuit. Man's in mostly bed until.
We might want Odegaard on loan so that Emile Smith-Rowe will have at least one full season with us. And Ray, we're going to get into that soon. Gary, I was going to put the banner up, but I'll just tell you what my banner was going to be, Gary. A tale of two Emmys. So a takeoff of Tale of Two Cities, right? A tale of two Emmys here. Arsenal could have actually relegated Aston Villa last season, Gary. Yeah. I know this is the point you brought last season to us. on the channel. So take it away.
Yeah, no, it's coming back to haunt us again, right? So far, that not winning that match or punishing them coming back to haunt us again, and this time it's on us, right? First it was first it was mostly us. I guess it was it's on us again, right? We didn't beat them
Take
this
care of
time. We actually
business,
given them a
right?
goalkeeper who not only played okay for them, right? Played pretty well for them, but also now is in the ears of any players coming in, right? Which, all right, I get that part, but isn't there some Brazilian connection we have as well on our team, right?
Yes.
I mean, isn't he?
Argentine.
Oh, he's Argentinian.
Yeah.
Ah,
Which there's a slight rivalry there between.
I'm getting okay. You
Brazil
know
and
what?
Argentina.
Okay, I had the Martinelli Gabriel thing in my head, so I was thinking about that. So yeah, nah.
You would have to, and I don't know I know there's a football rivalry between Brazil and Argentina, but I would think as South Americans they would, gel and integrate quite well, like maybe European players would. You know what I mean? So greater minds than us would probably know what the Argentinian Brazil, if there's a real rivalry there. But as you said, Gary, last season Arsenal needed to take care of business. We go away to Aston Villa. We actually needed to do well to get ourselves up the league. We put in a sleepwalking performance, lose 1-0. Don't really have many chances from that game. A zombie-like.
Oh, you got the green light. The green light is that the angry? You won't like me when I'm angry. Is that what? That's what it looks like to me. It's like the Hulk.
To another country, smash Arteta. No.
It's the Hulk syndrome. So, and Gary, we're not going to relitigate the whole Leno Martinez thing. My thoughts, as most people may know, is that I thought Martinez had done enough to be given that assurance that he was going to be the first choice going into the season. One of the many mistakes that, for me, Arteta's made quite a few mistakes. Now, Stan has just arrived here, and Stan and I agree. It's 15-20%. We're hanging on by that thread there, Gary. But
yeah, no, we're trying to pull you over, and you guys are holding on to each other, and like, no, we're not gonna go. Come on over. It's not that bad. The water's nice over here. Come on.
Yeah, the water. It's a little cold for me yet. We'll see what happens. If it starts heating up from Mikel Arteta, then October, November, when I need to get warmer, I'll dip my toe in because my here October, November, it gets warmer there for you as well. So
yes, much warmer.
And this is early. We are going to go probably another half hour later after the first round of the Euros on the Sundays or Saturdays, because you know what? It's summertime. We're not going to let Arsenal dictate to us, Gary, what we do. We're going to live our lives this summer. We'll dip into giving you some content either Saturday and Sunday, whatever suits us, not Arsenal. And that's it, right? But Lemmy Martinez went to Aston Villa, had a record amount of clean sheets. We've got Bernd Leno, who now maybe is wavering in his commitment to Arsenal one season later.
Well, this is currently it seems to be the Arsenal way, right? You have a competition between two goalkeepers. You put your confidence in one of them, right? You let the other one go because he's confident in himself now, and then you don't back him up in the sense that now a season later, and there is actually word on the street that he might be okay leaving, right?
Mm-hmm. Open to offers.
Right, and that's Arsenal. That's the negatives that are going on, at least for me in the clubhouse as to how things are going. I mean, you put a lot of confidence in him, and he's thinking that it's not Well, you know what? See, you look at that comment, right, and it's like 10 to 12 games. Doesn't he did the reason why Arteta is in the place he is because of Emi Martinez, right? Because of Ainsley, Maitland-Niles, right? All
players
Nelson was part of that run. I mean, Willock was part. I mean, all these players are part of those runs that got the manager into the position he is. and from that he was, what did he become? He became manager after that or something like that, right? So all these things that have propelled him into the position he is, and then he's gone away from that and didn't show the same loyalty that he's shown in other players that haven't shown him the same kind of performances that you wanted. So we knew. I mean, you looked at what Emmy brought to the table in the sense that he communicated with the back line. He came out with authority to clear balls. He had, I call it like the hand of Superman hands, where the ball was coming, he just stab it out and just catch it with just one hand, right? Things that you just didn't see. And yes, he's been around for a long time, but maybe he got the opportunity, and now is the time, right? We'll see how long it lasts, but it doesn't look like it's going away.
Yep.
And we saw it's like you see potential in players, right? And he's at the right age, right? He's not going away for a while. And you needed the money, right? And you needed the money. Leno was just coming off an injury. I know that might have been a little negative, but I don't think anybody thought he wasn't going to come back to form, right? No. He was going to command the more money. I guess if it's $5 million, it's not a big deal which way you go at that point. But if it's like $10 million difference between the two, which it should have been, right? Leno should be at least $10 million more than Emmy at this point in their careers and their performances and stuff. So if it's not, then that's more an Arsenal, I think, because we don't show that our players are valued that high in the marketplace, right? Everybody looks at us and wants to get a discount, even though we have some decent quality in some of our players.
Well, Mahir, you look at the whole package. As Ray, I agree wholeheartedly with what Ray Anderson said here. Emmy did enough in 10, 12 matches to guarantee a start over Leno, who Leno was good, has been good. But I feel, and as Gary said, playing out from the back, being able to go and grab balls, be more commanding in your box, in your area, and actually initiating play out from the back. I think Martinez has been much more clean at it. I don't want to stay too long on this topic because obviously hindsight's 2020, and but Arteta has made the wrong. Arsenal have made the wrong, in my opinion anyway, have made the wrong choice in going with Bernd Leno, and this too much. What do you call it? Affiliation to certain players. A bond. You need to be a bit more professional about it. You need to go look at it harshly and be ruthless, right? Be ruthless. Emi Buendia was clearly in those 12 games the better player, and as James Rowe said before, you need to turn your club over and look for the players that are underneath your nose. Emi Martinez was underneath our nose for many, many seasons, and we got the benefit of it last season. But real quickly, let's have your take on the goalkeeper situation.
Now, the whole goalkeeper situation, look, rumors, first of all, Onana looks to be close to a deal or whatever. This is, we're going to sign him. Very quality. But that's only if Bernd Leno does leave. Then again, that makes you think, why did we let go of Martinez and why did we let go of Emi Martinez? The thing I personally loved about Martinez, if you speak with conviction, is that he was very calm at all times. Like, as soon as I see him in the starting lineup, Gary, I'm thinking to myself and to everybody else, Mr. Bungle's in the house,
We're doing a reasonable time. Mr. Bungle will be doing about 4 p.m. UK time moving forward for the next couple of months at least. We're gonna, as I said earlier, Mayor, we're gonna do it on our terms, not Arsenal terms. Go ahead, Mayor.
Exactly. Now I was just saying how calm Emi. As when you see Emi in the starting lineup, you think immediately to yourself, "Wow, there's calm. There's going to be calmness. There's going to be authority at the back." Like you're saying, Gary says, and you say, he used to shout and talk to his players. Listen here, you do this, you do that. That's authority. And I never used to feel at a panic. And I know. Let's just cut it short. Yeah, it looks like we did make a mistake by letting him go because Bernd Leno, in terms of quality, has kind of really fallen off, and now there's even talks that he might leave. So uncertain times. We just pray for the best.
Yeah. Uncertain times, Gary, as Mahir said, Sam Greenwood, what's cooking, brother? So, yeah, that's the goalkeeper situation too. The tale of two Emmys. We've lost out and one. And Gary, it's very possible that Emmy Martinez was helpful in bringing Emmy Buendia to Aston Villa.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Yeah, that would have affected us that much. But yeah,
ripple effect.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like many said, I mean, if Arsenal, I think if Arsenal looked a little different to the league, it might probably be an easy decision, but we just don't look like that right now. So Arteta has to go in there and do a really good closing, really good sales pitch, I think, or whoever's going in and talking to these players, because they can definitely help us. Yeah.
I definitely believe, Gary, and I don't dispute that Arsenal did put a bid in, and I definitely believe, as has happened last season with Gabriel Magalhaes and Thomas Partey, that Mikel Arteta had a key part in telephone conversations with those players. I would think the same thing happened with Buendia, but Aston Villa, structurally and behind the scenes, they move better as an Arsenal in getting their act together.
Yeah.
Just a fact. Listen, this is your cue right now to hit pause and hit the like button. We want to get it to 30 here, and get it to 30, we might have grouchy.
Yeah, I always check it. Yeah, I like to check and see what's going on the. It's like in the States it's called the waiver wire, but over here it's just called Twitter.
Twitter, yeah.
To see what's going on, and one of the things I saw is that Villa is maybe going after Ward-Prowse, and Leicester City might be in the lead for Odward, I think it is. Odward.
Yeah. And I definitely, James Ward-Prowse is a player I talked about on Twitter maybe 3 weeks ago. Got shot down because he's English, and we shouldn't be looking at English players because of the tax on it. But a great dead ball player, and he does have a lot of assists in there, and I think he's a very underrated player. James Ward-Prowse is. Gary.
Well, no, I mean, I think he brings some qualities that we were lacking for sure, right? I mean, definitely his free kicks and stuff like that work on it. I haven't watched him enough to say, okay, is his defense or the other qualities that he have what we are missing?
He is good. He is good going both ways. Doesn't have a lot of pace, but he's definitely, I would say, he's an upgrade on.
When you say not enough pace, but then is he a smart enough player to be his positions where it doesn't really matter as much, right? Some players can take a little risk because they can recover, right?
Was that my hair saying goodbye?
I don't know. I thought he was pointing to that the comment from Alex there.
Would Conte solve a lot of Arsenal's problems, Gary?
Well, not if he doesn't get the control that he wants of the team, right? And I think that's the issue with anybody that we bring in, is whether or not they're allowed to actually do their job, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've given Arteta positions that he's not qualified for, but then we've heard that they're not going to give certain managers the bandwidth that they need to get things done as well, right? So it's not. That's why we need somebody a lot higher up to actually run this ship, right? We've got nobody running this ship. I mean, there's nobody. You go look in the cat. You go look in who's at the controls of this ship, and it's just the wheels are just spinning, and it's
like
just
me on Thursday night.
The wheels are just spinning around, and nobody's in there, and the navigation is just screwy. It's all messed up, and you don't know what's happening. What's it say?
Get Arteta, there's something out of here, right?
Yeah.
Stan's comment here. Mikel and Edu couldn't sell a process to a championship player. This confirms that Arsenal has lost its pull.
Because the ship is being steered on autopilot by Casper the Friendly Ghost. Edu, Mikael, Edu, and Vinay are not the right people. They are sitting downstairs, blazing up some cigars, and talking about the good old days. I don't
In the
know what,
green room,
but
in the blue room or the green room.
no, they don't deserve to be in either the blue room or the green room. They got their own separate room, the dumb club, the bunch of dum-dums.
Ray Anderson, you're right. I can't say outright that Arteta spoke to Buendia, but we've known from past transfer dealings, Arteta has been instrumental in having that conversation with players.
That's how we got William, remember?
Yeah.
I mean, so you got one of your big signings of the transfer period in William, and he sold him on the deal.
And then Gabriel too, right?
Yeah, yeah. And we can only, like you say, we can only go on assumptions and past behaviors. And the past behavior has been that Arteta has had some say in bringing certain players in, and he should, right? He should be able to. And if he's not only the coach but the manager as well, then he probably should have a little bit of a say. You hope if they're running a certain way. Yeah.
Let's see. If Arsenal asked Arteta and went for Conte tomorrow, if Arsenal sacked instead of asked Arteta tomorrow and went for Conte, who would be qualified to sit down with Conte to discuss our vision and sell our
that's the problem. That's why
that would be the exiting manager, right?
There's a big gap. There's a big gap between right now. Some would say there's a big gap between the ownership and the players because nothing in between is actually anything that we want, right? Arteta might be a good coach, but he's not a good manager, and that's where the depth. And then it just drops off from there. Edu is okay, but he's not a seasoned veteran in terms of bringing in the players. Garlic just got here. I know he has some experience in this, right? Running a team, but his name just isn't as big as a Campo. And if you're even in the conversations with a Campo, then why not spend the money and bring him in? It's worthwhile, even if it is for a short number of years, just to get the ship steering in the right direction and get somebody in the cabin who can actually put his hands on the wheel and steer us in a good direction, right? I mean, these are things I think should be just done sooner than later. The fact that his name came up and is gone already is sad because I think we need some help anywhere, and he would be a person I think would do good things for us, even if for a short period of time. The problem is, do we want that? And does that? And if
we need help.
If that keeps KSC here, we really don't want KSC here either, right?
Inverted commas, we do need help. In inverted commas, overall.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we need help. We need help everywhere and anywhere, right? I mean, if that means a new manager, so be it. But if that means somebody between the owner and manager, somebody on the board, players, all of it, right?
And Arsenal fan circle need your help as well. Right now, pause the stream, hit that like button. We're up to 7. Let's see if we can push it closer to 30 by the end of the podcast. Let's move on a little bit here. We'll talk about Odegaard in a minute, but let's have a word, Mahir, about Emile Smith-Rowe. Emile Smith-Rowe was never going to be replaced by Emi Buendia. I think we needed a player like Emi Buendia to help Emile Smith-Rowe in his development. We can't ask Emile Smith-Rowe to play 38 games in the league, plus cup games, whatever we're going to do in the cups. Similar thing with Bukayo Saka. We need to protect these young players. We've seen their quality. Mahir, and I have full confidence that Emile Smith-Rowe and Saka will light it up for us next season. Well, they can't be asked to do everything, so we do need to bring a player in that's going to complement them, not replace them.
Exactly. But I mean, even to the likes of Emile Smith-Rowe being linked for sale, I don't think. I mean, it would absolutely shock us and take us even further down deep into our graves if we go and sell somebody like Emile Smith-Rowe. And as we do know,
I'm going to say that's not going to happen, but it's Arsenal. I can't.
But that's the thing. That's the thing of recent, Gary, that I get pissed off with. You never know what's going to happen with these people. It's not like you can trust them to say, listen here, they're going to protect our youngsters and bring in cover Because the cover I'm looking at currently, oh my days, if that was our midfield, say for example, Emil Smith Rowe, Partey, Basuma, Alonso,
Hey, Alonso.
his
Uh,
Nice.
Mr. Bungle, bringing it. He's bringing it today, Mr. Bungle.
Yeah,
Um,
you're talking about Saka and the Millsroof Row, and as I mean, people, I sound like a broken record all the time. They are so far ahead of schedule.
Mhm.
They are so far ahead of schedule, right?
we just
We
hope they
want we
continue.
want the 23, 24-year-old Saka and Millsroof Row, right? That's what we want,
Yeah,
and we're not going to get that if we play them the way we've been playing them in the past season, right?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's definitely Saka. We always talk about he needs some rest, right? I mean, he just played in a friendly, and now he's probably out with a hip injury. Yeah, I mean, he's worn down. I mean, teams are going to knock him down, and he's got no protection, right? I mean,
Mhm.
and that's now we've seen it at Arsenal, and now we're seeing it in the England team, right? He's got no protection. Who's protecting him such that he doesn't get knocked down like that all consistently? Something needs to happen for that. For him to make it through. So I
Yeah.
I think we are. That's why we need we need depth, squad depth, right? Not to push these players out just because we don't want them today. We don't want the Sakas and the Millsroof Rose to be our leaders today, right? We need them to be part of this process, this plan. So 2 to 4 years from now, when we're laughing because they're like some of the top players out there in the Premier League, then we're happy for that. That's what we
Yeah.
need, right?
Why
I don't think
would
anybody thinks that they're ready ready to play a full, the majority of the games in not only the domestic league but in the European league as well.
Yeah, Stan says, why would anyone choose Birmingham over London? So at this point, Alonso, I'll bring you in and we'll get you caught up here. Just dip in real quickly on yesterday's events. We all know what happened with Emi Buendia. We believe there was a bid from Arsenal. We went in low as per Arsenal's DNA, and Aston Villa watched what happened and gave Norwich what they wanted. We actually believe probably Emi Martinez was was an agent working for Aston Villa, and that's he's an Aston Villa player. That's his right as it is right now. But what were your thoughts on yesterday's proceedings, Alonso?
Of course, very disappointed because we had to put original bidding for him, right? And of course it was never good enough, and it's happened far too often where we are linked to a player and we are just not ambitious enough to prove to ourselves and our fans us fans that we're not putting in the extra 5 or 10 million pounds to put for the effort to sign these players. And I just laughed because it's typical Arsenal that they don't know what the hell they're doing, and they just mess around too much. I think that they beat around the bush too often, and I think Edu shows his immaturity. I think he should know better than that. That this is a player that we need, yet he messes around and messes up, and it sucks because fair play to Evan Martinez because he knows his pitch chart, right, and it's like he convinced him to come to Birmingham rather than London, and you know it is what
Mm,
it is, I guess.
yeah, and Mahir, Emil Smith Rowe, a player we all believe in, and he can take a step up as well. But a question, Mahir, from Alex: can we envisage an Arsenal selling Saka and or Emil Smith Rowe?
No, not at all.
Your heart says no, right? But what does your head say?
My head says, you know what? Sometimes when you're in need of funds, I don't know, you'll do really stupid things if you're in need of cash money. And knowing Arsenal, Alonso and Gary, knowing Arsenal, we'll go and sell somebody like Emil Smith Rowe or Saka, right? 400 mil, and then guess what? We'll go and buy 3 Williams.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my bloody
Let me go to Gary and then Alonso. Gary, our heart
bloody.
says no, that shouldn't happen, couldn't happen, but our head under Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke and how the clubs run, my head says it could happen one day.
One day. Oh, okay. So, okay. I was
Tomorrow.
thinking like right now, and I don't see that happening. One day, yes, I can see that happening, and it probably, if that's happening, then you know where we stand, right? So eighth would be a nice thing to have if we're selling Saka in the Millsfield Row. That's where I feel. That's why, that I can envision that happening is because eighth would be a really good season for us, and probably the best season we've had in like a while, right? That's where I can. That's when I can envision us selling. Is that eighth place is like, wow, we got eighth place, and people don't even remember that there was a time when we were in the top six, right? That's when you can envision that. Right now, if they did that, I mean,
Suicide.
Suicidal. Yeah,
no,
you talking about basically career suicide. Basically, that's what you do if you want to, if you want to get out of a job, you sell a Saka or a Millsfield Row right now. Because when they go to another team, guess what? They're not going to start, right? They're not going to start in some of these teams. Some of these big teams that might see something in them will have them come in. There might be a squad player for them in a vision because they would be playing them, expecting them to play at their top peak in a couple years from now. That's why we need to squad up because we right now Saka and the Millsfield Row are the only light we've got right there in that middle part of the field, right? For the future.
Yeah.
So no, I don't see it today. I can see it in the future, and if we are, that's when we're
if we are,
we're
it's
competing.
not a good
That's
thing.
when we're like competing with the Leeds, and like
Burnley's.
the Burnleys, basically, right, and maybe even the Newcastles and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's where we keep dipping, right? We're not even thinking about City, Liverpool, Chelsea right now. We're not even thinking about those teams, right? We're lucky we have a little hand over United, but the other teams, nah, we're not even. We got a chance with them.
And look, that's why I titled this podcast. I want to be proud of Arsenal this summer, and one swallow does not make a summer, right? So, this blip with Buendia, I want to look at it in the context of the whole summer. It's not good right now, but I want to look at it the whole context of the summer. Alonso, I'm going to go to you in a second here. If the price is right, Alex said, I can see Arsenal selling Saka, Emile Smith Rowe. These players will also want to play for a team who can win trophies. The real thing is, Alonso, we have to build a team that's going to be competitive to allow these players who love Arsenal right here in the heart and on the crest. They love the team. They love their environment. But we have to create an environment where they're going to be successful with us, and that has to start building. Some will say, myself included, that it did build December 26th onwards, but hopefully we have to start building it quickly and getting up there, so that we don't have to be forced to sell a Saka or a Emile Smith-Rowe.
Yeah, and we shouldn't have to do that. And if we do, it's because we need the funds, right? But at what proper football club do we have to sell young players at a high price in order for us to stay afloat, right? And then buy other players. That kind of shows you that the ownership don't have no ambition to buy better players for our team to succeed, and I don't even want to talk about selling Emile Smith Rowe and soccer right now because they're just too good for us right now. And it kind of shows that our youth are better than our veteran players right now, which also is discouraging as well because it's supposed to be the other way around. It's supposed to be our veterans players, our senior players, showing up the younger players and showing the ropes and guiding them and how to become better players. Like, I guess how everybody else did at Wilshire all those years ago. And I see a lot of comparisons with Saka and Emile Smith Rowe to Wilshire because they want to be at Arsenal forever. It seems like, right? So they want to have that also that leadership value as well because at the end of the day, the Arsenal players still and they also re-signed for long-term contracts, right? So as Arsenal fans, we can't talk about that because we can't talk about them leaving because the future is still high with us.
Mm-hmm. And look, Meyer, as Stan said, and this is completely true. It doesn't matter we didn't rate him. Certain fans will and won't rate him. It matters that the club went after him, tried to grab him, and weren't able to. Now, unless something happens in the last stages, it's not, as far as I know, it's not a done deal right now, but it's pretty darn close to being done. We couldn't seal the deal for Buendia, and a club that finished actually below us, so it's quite concerning.
This is what it's come to, guys. The state of our club. We used to be giants. Now we are trolls. Literally. And physically. Because the likes that everybody that's in charge doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Pardon my French, but jeez. This ship is being sailed directly into that giant iceberg on Titanic. Yep. We're standing right.
Oh Lord!
We're standing right in front of that iceberg.
If
and
that
guys,
happens, Mahir, I'm
What is
getting the young players on those lifeboats first, and Willian and certain players like Xhaka might be too slow to get to the deck. You know what I mean?
You just ask them to keep playing some music. You guys go back and play some music with the band. We'll be
Hector,
right back.
that would be Hector. He'd be playing music on the deck, right?
I can picture that. Or well, no, guys, just go down. Just the band's playing. Go enjoy. Go have a party. No, nothing's going on.
I was just before I lose. They were talking about Birmingham and the Cadbury factory, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know about that. That might be a big sell. Get chocolates. You can go on your way to work. You can get some chocolates. Even though it sounds like Stan, they keep closing it on you when you go.
Buendia. So. Yeah, listen, this is the. Yeah, and it's a good thing you mentioned that, Gary, because we're going down a rabbit hole here, and we love going down these rabbit holes. The Titanic rabbit hole. So who's playing the band for you, Gary, on the deck? Hector Bellerin?
Who's playing the band? He's keeping everybody distracted. Jacques is at the front, right? Everybody's like, yeah. Yeah, definitely have Willie in there. Hector's got to be there. Hector's there doing a runway show, keeping everybody in tune with the new fashions, the new Titanic fashions.
Granit Xhaka will be the conductor.
we see we're laughing, but we're all crying on the inside because this boat is staring right at a big iceberg, right? And like you said, if we don't get the Sakas and the Millsford Pros off the boat, they're gonna go down with us, and that's not what we want either. I mean, you brought up Wilshire, right? And that is a talent that we saw, just go pretty bad, right? We never really got to see him for. When's the last time we've seen him play for a full season and see that quality for a whole season? We haven't seen it. We've yet to see it yet for Saka or Millsford Row, right? They've had some ups and downs, right? And they're not there yet. That's why it is scary that in like 3 years from now, when they leave, we'll probably be like, yep, that's probably what needs to happen because we're not at that quality, right? We need to be at that quality, and we're not going to do that the way we're going right now.
Listen, I'm going to harp
William on the triangle. He doesn't even have a mallet. He's got like a sausage, a hot dog, or something. And it's just, he's ringing.
This is what sets us apart, maybe from other podcasts. We find humor. Maybe it's gallows humor in certain things. But shout out to Mahir for getting us on the. You directed us on to the Titanic, Mahir. Now we're passengers.
I am the real orchestra of us trying to get back onto the correct track, for our beloved club.
We're trying to get to the promised land in the US of A. Where all things can be possible. Get to Stan Kroenke's ranch and live a good old life there. But we've hit an iceberg, Alonso, and Sons of Arteta are playing on the deck. We're going to direct the young players onto the lifeboat, save them, and we'll direct Granit Xhaka. I'm going to put him as the conductor, David Luiz.
So the question is, does the captain go down with the ship?
Oh,
Whoa! Another analogy.
I'm saving.
Does the captain see what's going on, and he ties a rope to the wheel? Does it make sure it doesn't steer off course, and locks the door and jumps off onto a lifeboat? Or is he sitting there? Is he actually locked in the cabin with handcuffed to the wheel, and he has to just go where the boat takes him?
Holding on the cowbell. So I'm going to go back and mark this later. The exact moment that the Titanic hit the iceberg on this podcast will be 50-something minutes. But, good laugh to think about that analogy. But Titanic indeed. I'm saving the captain at least until cold waters in October, November. But look, Alonso, we missed out on Buendia. We were, as I said to my wife, are you willing to pay £30 or $30 for something? Yes, I'll buy that. But if someone wants to sell it for 35, she said it depends on how much I really wanted it, and that was the case with Arsenal with Emi Buendia. But Alonso, options could be Odegaard. Either we get him on a loan for another season. Reports are Edu is quite confident that he can do this deal for Odegaard, and Gary can practice Odegaard for another season.
I need to. I want to work on that.
But Edu is quite confident. Is it a case? I mean, it definitely is a case, Alonso, that we do know the player that we have now for 4 months. It's more of a quantity that we know. It could be safer, and it could actually work if we can get Odegaard back for another season.
Yeah, I think that, I think what Tony mentioned in Thursday's podcast is that if there's an option to buy or obligation to buy rather, right, Gary?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if a dude pulls this off, it'd be a masterclass signing in my opinion. It'd be almost like Ozil-esque kind of signing where this guy did amazing for us. And if you imagine if you imagine a whole season with us, then I think look out because he could do some good things for us. His information issues, I think, Baron's information issues, I think this could work out. But it has to work out. I mean, you can't put all eggs in one basket, and there's also Busuma there as well that I would like to see at Arsenal as well. So yeah, I mean, I think it'd be a good signing if you do get Odegaard back. It seems like he wants to be here, and we need players who wants to be here, and understand the circumstances.
True. Yeah.
And he likes it here, so I just hope that he redeems himself. I do as far as signing Odegaard. I think it'd be awesome, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens, and ruthless is a word that's playing in the back of my head, but. We're gonna pull on the Titanic reference a little bit more. Mikel and Edu are up there in that watchtower. They're both together. I can imagine that the binoculars are around both their necks, right? And they're each trying to pull the binoculars away from each other. Watching for that iceberg.
Or they both. One eye is on the one eye's got the right eye, and the one eye's on the left eye, saying, "Yay, what do you see?" Nah, man, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. What are we gonna do?
They're pulling each other's heads left and right, up and down. They don't know which way to look. Gary,
what's going on? They don't know.
It just gets to the point where we as fans are shaking our head, Gary. I mean, all we can do is laugh at that analogy, right?
Yeah, that is. Hopefully, it's not true, but it's Arsenal, so it most likely might be close to it. All right. Yeah. I mean, it might be close to it. I mean, you were just talking about Martin Odegaard, and I'd be happy to bring him back, but I think we need to have a little something in the contract that allows us to have the first opportunity to
a little bit of control
to control the whether we purchase the player or not, or bring him over.
But you know how much they want for him? I've had they want 50 mil for Odegaard. What are you smoking?
Well,
It'll probably settle in on something like Partey or 45 or 50, 45 to 50. You know, it's a lot
I
of.
wouldn't
It's
risk it,
it's
honest with you.
it's a lot of money, Gary, and it's something we weren't prepared to pay for Buendia.
that's true. That is true. So,
Yeah.
so I can't have it. You can't have it both ways. But I mean, I think for me, I mean, that's what makes it so. That's why we're so conflicted, right? We're talking. We think we've lost Buendia, but we're also talking about Erdegaard coming in, who costs more, and as far as we can see so far, is a little limited in where he can go on. We can't put him everywhere we want, right? We can't play him at a 10 and out on the wing and all that kind of stuff, and expect to get the same performances that we're expecting to get out of a Buendia, right? So that's where the player like a Buendia, so you can utilize him anyway, and he fits in just like a Emile Rowe, right? We thought when we got Erdegaard that it would cause a problem. Nope, you just push the Emile Rowe out to the outside and we're fine. Buendia, same thing, right? And then they can actually switch around if they needed to based on the way the game's going. So to me, I don't see why Buendia doesn't fit if that's the way we've been playing. Erdegaard doesn't give us that flexibility, right? We can't just swing him out to the wings right now. They haven't put him there, so I don't feel like he's confident in that kind of a move. So
even though he has drifted out there and assisted, notably for the Martinelli goal, he was in that inside right area.
Yeah, coming back into the middle, right, when he did that, right? But I mean, I don't think he's going to start a game where he says, "All right, I'm going to bring him most row, put him in the middle, and push you out, push you outside." Right? He's not going to do that. So yeah, so, why? So it should be easy then, right? I always say it should be easy. Based on what we just said, it should be easy just to go give Buendia for the extra 5 or 10 mil that you didn't want that you're going to have to pay for an Erdegaard anyways, right? Or they're just not ready yet, or they got another player on their radar that they're just not ready to put.
They gotta be good. They gotta be because they can't sell Buendia. If they had to have someone who was just a second choice, or even if their second choice was Odegaard, so that's why I think about,
No, I mean I see the comments. My thing is I didn't see Erdegaard out there as much on the right as as we saw with Emile Rowe, right?
Buendia plays his wing, just by the
Ray
way,
Anderson,
guys.
Ray Anderson said the captain will be in jail if the passengers drown and he saves himself. Am I here?
Well, you know what? That's going to happen. That's going to happen. The captain will be sitting on another big ship, the new ship, a bigger ship, an established ship, who's got better quality staff on it, a better band.
So Arteta
it's got iceberg detection system. It knows when a problem's coming and it fixes it.
Oh, Gary,
that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen because 5 years from now, when the captain's gone and we've got somebody else new, and we're still sitting on the old rickety old boat. It's got a big rip in the side of it because it just missed the iceberg, but it's taken on water anyways. And the man just jumped off and jumped on the new ship.
Odegaard, as Dan said here, Odegaard can play on the right. Also has a higher ceiling than Buendia and is the captain of his country.
Captain of the country isn't going to sell it for me because we got a captain of the country on our team right now, and everybody's like, "See ya, bye."
Right,
it's a different story, but I'm just saying that's not going to sell it for me. But the potential, definitely.
It will be interesting as well. I guess Norway didn't qualify for the Euros, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in the Euros as well.
You guys want to hear my transfers? Ooh-wee! Listen to this.
Go for it.
So, right? Basuma. Ruben Neves for 35 million from Wolves. He's only 24.
Yeah, the one thing about Ruben Neves, I don't know what everybody feels. I know the quality stuff's not the same as some of the other players that we're looking at, but for me, I just felt like coming out of the that system, we're going to get a tougher player, right? A player with a different type of mentality. right?
Different mentality.
Yeah, and that's what we need. Some like when we played Wolves, all those players, right? They would beat us up, right? They would just beat us up, right? They're tough, right?
Yeah.
And that's just the kind of the style that was given. That's what the manager wanted out of his players, and that's what we saw.
Yeah.
They didn't have the talent, but they definitely had that mindset, right? And I like that, right? And that there was more than one player from the Wolves team that I would take because of that mindset, right? Same thing. You look at Burnley. You look at Burnley. They have that same mindset. Those players are coming up. And they're coming up from the championship.
Lower.
They come in, they're the bottom of the league, but they still play and give you 100%.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for, right?
Yeah.
And they have some talent, just not a lot. But you put it all together, and you get a decent squad.
When we played Wolves, we were actually, you guys know this also, this is another analogy. We were hit with a finish him, and we were just standing there doing the from Mortal Kombat.
So
Yeah, it was us.
what is that reference from? Because forgive me, I don't know.
Mortal
From
Kombat.
finish him when the guy's about to finish you off
Yeah,
with the
that video game. Right.
Yes, sir. Now we were standing there doing the whole.
I'm not here. You have a certain amount of time to put that finishing move together, right?
Yes, but by that time when we play these teams, we don't have the finishing mentality. We can't get to that point. We can't get to that point. That's how weak-minded a lot of the players are. But a lot of the board and the owners who don't care about. That's why when Leicester won, when Leicester beat Chelsea, the owner came on the field, and we even spoke about that. We were like, how beautiful is that? That they only get the chance to do that because he actually cares. He's given the opportunity to come on and celebrate a win with the players who also actually care about the fans or their supporters.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Listen, hit the like button if you're enjoying the analogies. We got Mortal Kombat. We got Titanic, a really good one, about 20 minutes back. But this is Arsenal, Gary, and I want to be proud of Arsenal again. I think we can be. I mean, last season we got Gabriel, we got Partey. We were pretty happy with that. Previous season we got Tierney, Pepe. We overspent for Pepe, but I think he's a player who's on the road, I think, to being really, really good, if not world class, eventually.
Yeah, and I guess we always bring up Pepe in this, and that's, to me, based on just the way we managed his career at Arsenal. You set your players up to succeed, and reduce any chances of failure, and they will reap the benefits of it. And I think we failed him. We failed him, right? I guess on the Stan's
We've
comment
learned
there,
nothing.
Sanderberg to me is not a starter, right? We need starters, players that we know are going to start for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Sanderberg isn't. I don't believe is a starter for us. And if he is, then that then we might as well just play Xhaka. We want somebody who's going to push Xhaka back, and not necessarily.
Yeah.
If you look at all the stats and all of that, because a lot of people, when we talk about Xhaka, will say, you know what, he is. He's not that bad. Look at his stats. But then when you talk about the stats, they're like, well, stats aren't everything. It's like, wait a second, which one is it? Because Xhaka isn't. We want to improve on that, and a lot of it, you're going to have to take some negatives with the positives right now, because we're not going out and getting a finished product, right? There's always negatives in any player that we're going to pick up, right? All of them. Buendia hasn't done it in the Premier League. Basuma is playing for Brighton. What do we have there? Neves, I don't know. Everybody's got a little negative there, but we need to change it up. Something has to change, and we can't just keep doing the same thing with the same players, expecting something different to change. It's just not going to happen. So I think we need to make that move.
Nice hat, Alonso. Like it. As Stan said, if we get Sanderberg, we have learned nothing. Neves is a decent player, as we've mentioned already. It does seem our fan base are very reactive to these things, and We wanted Ruben Neves a couple of seasons ago, and this season fans are very lukewarm on it. You know, other names out there is Fekir from Betis, and I would quite like Sabitzer from RB Leipzig as well.
Oh yes, that's
Lonzo? So Alonso, who would you like Arsenal to maybe target next? Do you want to see what do you want to see Arsenal do today or this summer to restore pride in what we believe in Arsenal and hope that it's going to be in the next season or two?
I guess, get Basuma. I think that he would fit in really well with Party, and I would like to them. I would like for them to get aggressive with this Odegaard. I think that he brings a lot to the team already, and I think there's a lot of unfinished business there. So yeah, just see him a whole year and hopefully re-sign him for a contract extension. So yeah, I mean, and I also need defensive work as well. I think
Let me put this to everybody. Then I'll start with you, Alonso. If we get Erdegaard, whether it be a loan for another season with some more control over what's going to happen with him, some requirements that he's going to be an Arsenal player in the future, but even a loan, or we go out and get him for 45, 50 million. Add Basuma, a right back, and a striker. Would you be happy with that business? And also maybe cover at left back. Would you be happy with all of that business? That's 5 players coming in.
Well, we also need a backup goalie, a goalie at least. Also, so I think center back, we need to trust our players we have now at that position because we have a lot of them. We have Sliba coming back and Mavropanos. We have Gabriel, we have Holden, we have Chambers. Could play also right back. But I think right back should also be a target more so than center back, at least right now. And so is midfield and striker. I think that Lacazette is so inconsistent as well as Aubameyang. And we need to give Gabriel Martinelli more of a chance. Not every week, but more so starting some games.
Mm-hmm.
And so is Balogun. Whether or not he's ready yet, or he needs to go back on loan, or selling Kentia. And maybe get Eduard in from Celtic. So we'll see what happens.
Hopefully we get a striker.
There's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, a lot of work to be. Sorry, Alonso.
So I think Arteta needs to learn how to also trust his younger players as well.
Yeah, a lot of work to be done. I'm going to put that to my hair, and then Gary. So my hair, we get Odegaard, however we get him. Go out and get Basuma, a right back. That's an upgrade on what we have already, hopefully. Like cover at left back. I'd like to do a striker as well. Is that good business at the end of the summer?
Most definitely. And also the players that are coming in need to be quality of some sort. I have a different opinion about Odegaard. I don't think Odegaard is that player that we're looking for in the midfield. Where's our number 10?
And Odegaard just would help Emile Smith-Rowe in his development as well. Gary, I know it's an open question. There's lots of variance in what I'm saying here. Odegaard, Basuma signed a right back, a cover at left back, and a striker with Saliba coming back as well. Will that represent something that you're happy with at the end of the summer, irrespective of
I saw the comment there from
Stan.
And we have one midfielder, right? El Neni is not a midfielder that we would want to have on this squad if we had our way. He does fill a need once in a while, but that's not where we want, right?
Not starting, right?
You've got Emile Smith-Rowe sitting in front of them, right? And that's it. So you got the 2 players there that are part of your starting squad, but we need a third somewhere, right? To be that part of our starters. And, I could see, 3 would be nice to fill the midfield, but at least 2 definitely. And if we got 2 of the, the big names on the table, That'd be really good for us because then we can kind of interchange things around and switch things around probably. Because everybody looks at all these players and say they're not the same players, and I think that's actually what Arteta wants to some degree. He does want to be able to switch things around once in a while. Players that are multifaceted can do different things. Will work out as well. So yeah, we definitely need 2 players in that midfield, right? At least 2. The right back sounds good and all. The striker situation now is okay. So we're at this point. We've got two strikers that cost the team almost 600,000 a week.
Mm-hmm.
600,000 for 2 players.
Like what we paid out. Well, that was double what Ozil.
No,
right?
but what I'm saying,
Ozil.
we have 2 we have a lot of our salary going to 2 players, and we really can't play both of them, right? And that's a lot of money for us, not for a lot of other teams out there. And if we're going to do things better, one of them has to go. I would rather keep Lacker, but I don't think that's going to be impossible.
Let me throw this at you. Would you sell Aubameyang to Chelsea then? Maybe he's at the height of his career, and maybe Aubameyang has seen his best days.
I mean, for our future, yeah, I would sell. Because are we competing for top 3 next season? No. I think people would be if we spent a lot of money, maybe, but we're not doing that. So if the model is we're not going to spend until we sell, and we can sell it and get back a big chunk of change along with that, right, and lower our salary per week. We might have to do that. I mean, I think it's one of those things where is it bad for us? Would the feeling be bad looking at it? Because it's no different than when Van Persie went to United and stuff, and maybe helped them get what they wanted. But he left because of the way the team is, as opposed to Arsenal saying, you know what, you got to go because we're going in a different direction. And that's the whole reactive versus the reactive and active, being active in what you do. We're right now we just sit there and react to anything that happens. We actually need to say, you know what, we're going to sell you because we got a plan and you don't fit it anymore.
Yep.
Right.
That's beautiful.
I don't think any of us feel like that's what's going on. Like the team actually knows what they want to do, and we'll just go do it. You know what? It shouldn't matter if I care or not. I mean, that's the thing. It shouldn't matter if I care. It shouldn't matter if any of us care about what they do. If they know what their plan is, right? We all wanted Saka to play last season. Arteta said, you know what? I don't need to play him. He's not ready not where I want him to be this season. He got more playing time, and maybe he does have to some degree some knowledge as to what he's doing, but you can't. I don't think we can afford to have 2 players command that much salary in the team, and we can't play them together. And they're not going to, and are they going to give us 20 and 20 to make it worth our time, right? Because that's a lot of money in the Premier League for 2 players up top.
It's a lot, yeah.
And you're not getting.
They're 20, not going to give us 20 and 20. They're not.
You're not giving us. They're not giving us 25 and 25 goals, assists for the season. So,
Right. Last chance here, people. We want to target 30 likes for this podcast. We're at 13 right now. Hit it up a little bit more. And anyone who's watching on playback, we do always appreciate you. We are looking forward this season. Finish looking back. We'll harken back to last season in terms of how bad we were and how well we can do next season. But next section, my hero, I'll start with you. Next section is roadblocks in our season next season. So, we're going to have to trim our squad, send some players out and buy some players, get them in, whoever it is. I do believe Bissouma is a player who does want to come to Arsenal. I do believe Bissouma could be waiting in the wings, and that could be a done deal. But again, I believe Buendia would be a done deal, and we would get him as well. So Arsenal haven't been making me proud so far in this early window. But roadblocks in our season, we got preseason coming up, trips to Scotland, to Florida here in the States, and then there's a tournament back at the Emirates. And then we have obviously the Olympics are going to impact Martinelli and Gabriel. And then finally in January, we have to be careful about the players we're going to bring in even in this window because we're going to, yeah, I mean, there's a debate whether you want to, it's okay to maybe sacrifice a month for it. I mean, you're not going to base your transfer dealings just solely on 4 weeks in one season, but it will, all of these things will possibly impact our season. And we're going to go for about another 15 minutes here.
So yeah, those roadblocks, and apparently AFCON as well, as even if we sign Bazuma and Partey would be off to the AFCON tournament here in
Aubameyang and Pepe.
Oh, Aubameyang as well. Oh, sorry,
And
Pepe as well.
Zaha
So that's
too,
like
because we're going to sign Zaha, right?
You know what? I don't find the need for all these tournaments. I mean, seriously. Iron Iconoclast one. Good afternoon, panel. Believe in Arsenal.
Believe in.
Are entirely up to the board as they employ the staff and Arteta picks the team. You see a problem? They clearly don't. Yeah. They clearly don't see what any
Believe
sort
in
of vision.
Arsenal, they can only go one way. It's entirely up to the board as they employ the staff and Arteta picks the team. Do you see a problem? They clearly don't see a problem with that. Go ahead, Mahir.
Yeah, we'd rather be Neves, but Neves doesn't have to go to the African Cup of Nations, I guess.
No, he doesn't.
You know what? Let's not base our overall performance on what's going to happen in those few weeks. What is it, like 4 weeks?
4 weeks 4 weeks in January. Yep.
Yeah, I still say sign them. Sign Ruben Neves. Quality, 24 years old, 35 million.
Basuma.
Go and go get that done. We must have in Buendia. Fine, whatever. Let's move on. Let's not get stuck now and like, oh, he didn't want to come to us. Oh, we could have. Let's just leave it. Close that door. Let's get to the next door and open that one.
Dude, Mahir, real quickly, we're going to close this out soon, so this is probably one of your last opportunities to speak here. Mahir, that didn't sound as nice as I wanted to sound, but
you don't have to leave, but you got to get the hell out of here. That's basically what he just said.
No. Mahir, dude, what's your confidence level that we will get some kind of business done before the Euro starts next Friday?
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, sure.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 4.
4.
Very low confidence that anything's going to get done before the Euros.
Mm-hmm. Gary, the same thing. Roadblocks in a season, plus your final thoughts, and you don't have to get out of here, but give us your final words.
We are going to have to get out of here, Ray. You're not going to keep us. You just said it. You gave us a 15-minute warning here.
Yeah,
we are circling. We are circling the runway. We are fifth in line. But yeah, no. So as far as the roadblocks go, the one thing I guess we haven't really talked about as much, and we probably should though, is do we have some of the depth and squad, players that we need that are either on loan or in academies, right? There are players coming back from loan like the Ballards and whatnot, and Mavropanos and Salibas. All of them could be part of our depth, right? So we have to use all of our resources, not just the ones that require money. We have players that actually are Arsenal players, and we might have to use them. Maybe they don't play as much, but this is a long term. This isn't going to fix us today. It's going to fix us tomorrow, and after. So I think we might have to do that based on where we are with money, with the monies we have. Get the best players you can, and then you work. If you get quality players, we're not going to get. All of our transfers aren't going to all be part of gone for AFCON. That's not where we, at least based on the names we have. We have Basuma, right? And there might be a couple other players, but they're not at the top of our list. So, you know, you just get the best players, and that brings up the team, I think. So then when you can take a dip, you know, you might take a dip in form, but you have players that know how we want to play, and you don't see it. I mean, what is it? Willian actually came in and played a pretty good game against Leicester, right? And that's because the team was on a flow, so we didn't want to lose that, and everybody was part of that. Those are the types of games you look back and go, you know what? We didn't even have some of our starters in there. We still got the most out of the game. You know, injuries, not only injuries and suspension and all that doesn't just hurt Arsenal, they hurt other teams as well, and we saw that. So as long as we have the right squad, we'll be fine. So yeah, I say just get the best players and then deal with it, right? And we have an academy we can dip into if we needed to.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing there. Yeah.
And
so,
we're gonna need to get the Titanic off to a good start next season. You know, it's gonna leave the port, and we're gonna have to open her out on the ocean and let her go as fast as she can. You know, the Titanic,
Yeah, well,
and we're gonna have to watch for Titanic.
Are you trying to change history?
Yes, we're gonna try
You're
and
trying to
change
change
history.
huh?
Watch for icebergs. The African Cup of Nations could be an iceberg. The Olympics could be an iceberg, and hopefully we move from there forward. As
You said they could be. No, they are icebergs.
They are.
But we can, like you said, we can steer clear of them if we do a good job in preparation, right?
We have to navigate them. We're gonna get a double Alonso here.
Yeah. Sorry. One last thing before I forget. I just saw like the Neves deal is contingent on us letting players go. So the chance that we get Neves anytime soon is dependent. It sounds like on Xhaka leaving us. So
right. Iconoclast Arsenal will play Willock next to Partey, save money on midfielder, and then they won't play Willock and offer Xhaka a new contract. Yep, shaking my head. Alonso, African Cup of Nations, the Olympics, and preseason, all things that hopefully we can navigate. You know.
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm assuming, Lacazette will be our starting striker next year because Martinelli and Aubameyang are both on leave, which is okay. You know, I don't mind Lacazette if he's so by then we need help. I mean, and I think this is where Arsenal lack. You know, they don't see the forthcoming. You know, so they don't know how to react to that.
Yeah,
and it's weird how it works out, right? So there's no backup plan. There's nothing. So, you know, we can only hope for the best. And even in case it can be sold too, right? So who do you have a striker? You know, Pepe. He's even he's gone, right? So it's like, God, you know, it's not gonna start well. I don't think. So we had to act now, and so yeah. I mean, Stan said it himself. I mean, it's just how Arsenal operates nowadays. They don't see things right. And, you know, as far as signings, you know, I want to see them done as possible. And we shouldn't have to wait for funds. Our owner should have to say, hey, listen, guys, you need some help.
Yep.
And this is where Kroenke lacks. You know, there's no ambition there. So, of course, we're going to have to wait till signings be made.
If we believe, Gary, that Arteta went to Stan Kroenke or the Kroenke sanctioned the money for Partey, it clearly didn't do that for Buendia, but anyway.
No, they. So it's just a lot. You know, Arteta trying to say I got what I need and not being able to perform. So and that's on him. If he's gonna say, look, you know what, I got the support of the league, of the team, you know, of the management, and then he fails at the other parts of the job, meaning he's not able to sell the players to at least make it look like we're doing what we're supposed to, then that's all on him, right? He's failing he's failing his job in our eyes, right? And you know, he's sending, you know, the team is sending a bad message, right? So Same old. Once again, right?
Same old. We want to.
Same old. And then at the end of the transfer window, we're gonna throw a lot of money at one player and then ask them to bring us the world, right? When in fact they can't, right? And then they come in, they're gonna be injured. There's going to be a language gap. There's going to be a style of play gap. There's going to be a Premier League. Oh, get affiliated to the league. All of those.
We know this. We know all these things, right?
And the player won't be ready to play until January, but will play in November, December, whatever. Get another injury, then be out, off and on, and back and forth. Same old.
All right, last chance. I hope everybody enjoyed this podcast. I hope the time slot has been good for everybody. It's not going to suit everybody, but I hope that you like our new summer hours. We will be doing this. There'll be more. We'll be dipping into some Euros chat as well as the tournament will take over our football this summer. There will be some hopefully Arsenal chat, some transfers. Alonso, we want Arsenal to make us proud again. I want to be at that point where I can look at my club with pride and say, yeah, they're starting to do things right here.
Yeah, and I think when this happened last was whenever we had partially left, then we started signing Giroud and Podolski and then Pizzola, and then after that it was Ozil and then Sanchez, and we haven't really signed anyone other than Party last year that and Tierney and Pepe that really get the Arsenal way of things and off the bat just change the way Arsenal are. And we need players now that can help us out, not only short term but long term as well. And I hope that our ownership can see that we need help and not mess around and so our young players just to have fun. That's ridiculous to me. If you can't afford Arsenal and afford to help us out, and you should just go as an owner and realize that you're not doing your job yourself and get someone in who could actually do something.
Yeah. Alonso, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. Maher, final comments?
No, I just want to wish everybody that they're safe and have a nice.
All the way from South Africa with some wardrobe changes as well. You can't beat it, Maher.
Wardrobe, we got the lights, we got the green lights, fellas. So with the green lights on, he's angry. You won't like it when he's angry.
New season, new lights. Yeah.
Final word, Gary. Disappointing yesterday. I hope the rest of the summer doesn't bring as much disappointment. We can go and get our business done in a quick and forthright manner.
Yeah. So yes, hopefully all of that. Hopefully all our business is done swiftly, quickly, and doesn't hurt us in the long term. To everybody in the chats, thank you for joining us. Anybody on the replays, hopefully Arteta, hopefully Arsenal does us proud, right, in this window. So let's see if they do that. It's easy. I'm telling you, it's easy. What we need to do, whether we can, and we'll see. But it's really easy to get this job, to get this ship steered away from the icebergs that we can see. Right, we see them. So
I love the Titanic analogy, Maher, today. Good one. Listen, as Gary said, it's an easy game. Football's an easy game. You get the ball, you score. You don't let goals in at the other end. On the administration side, if you want something badly enough, pay a little bit more for it. Arsenal obviously didn't want Buendia bad enough, and we'll see what happens. We're gonna hopefully not look at a player next season and wonder what it could have been as an Arsenal player. Emi Martinez, I think, had a part to play in it, obviously, and hopefully the same thing happens with Bissouma and Pepe. Pepe's laying the groundwork for Bissouma. But thanks for joining, everybody. I hope everybody is having a great weekend. And on Thursday, we're going to preview the Euros. We are out of here.
Alonso, how you doing?
Thanks for watching, everybody. Come on, you Gunners. Let's get that business done early.